Alright, so we got two pieces connected here, just tacked up, and now we're going to tack it to the flange. It's going to sit like that, and like I said, we're going to leave it a little long for now until we get the hood, which, like I said, we don't know how long that'll be, so we'll leave it long for now, but we're going to get the exhaust tacked up to the flange, weld it up, put the O2 bung on it, and that's going to do it for the turbo kit. I made this line. If you guys don't know, when you remove the AC, essentially a line from here goes back to the heater core, comes back around and goes to this side when you have AC and heat, but obviously I don't, so I made a new line. Kind of got obsessed with using PTFE on everything after doing the fuel lines, so I changed that one to PTFE, just ran it right there with some BL Fab fittings, and yeah, so we're gonna get working on the downpipe. I'm starting to wire up the line lock finally, so I ran the ground, and now I need to run this wire inside to the switch. There's a little toggle switch right there next to the N gauge, and then I gotta run, actually that's the solenoid wire, so I gotta run the solenoid wire to the switch, then run a power wire to the switch with a fuse, and then a remote switch. So a couple wires to run, and then the line lock will be done. I got the new trans brake button hooked up. I used the bigger mushroom style for trans brake, and then got the bump wired back in, and then green for scramble. Typically people have their bump and the scramble the same, but since it's stock ECU, don't really have a way to configure that, so I'm sure there's a way to make it work, but for now got the three buttons: bump, or trans brake, bump, scramble. Got the MMM shifter mounted up back together. I need to get some new carpet since I'm removing the center console. I think it's gonna look a lot cleaner. It's kind of a mess in here, but I think it'll look a lot cleaner without the center console and just have the carpet pulled real nice and tight. So finally getting the wiring and interior back together. So let's get going on the downpipe. Oh, you gotta use whole milk too. So
you recording this and you didn't even show the cookies?
Behind every good fabricator is bomb cookies.
Look.
DM for Addy.
Yeah. All over you want it. Dude.
Man, it is finally beautiful in Emerald, Texas. It's like 75 degrees. It's freaking racing season. I'm excited to get out. So, as you guys saw, we finally finished the turbo kit, which honestly the turbo kit didn't take that long in reality. Just waiting on parts and stuff like that. It just kind of held us up, but the turbo kit is officially done, minus doing like the oil lines and stuff like that, but that's pretty easy. I can knock that out pretty quick. Just got to measure for a few things, get some fittings and get some line, and that'll be done. But I sent it all off to Lubbock today to Hammertone, I think it's Hammertone, Powder, something like that. They're in Lubbock. They did the turbocharger and they did the manifolds already, as you guys saw like way back when I got those done. So I'm pretty excited to get all that done and back. So we're gonna Cerakote the downpipe, Cerakote the midpipe, and then do powder coat on the intake tube, and then on the little piece, there's like a small little adapter piece that goes from the turbo compressor cover to the intercooler, and so we got that one powder coated as well. Typically I do like all the polished stuff, but the polished stuff is a pain in the ass to maintain, and I kind of want to do something a little different this time. So everything is going to be blacked out as far as the engine goes, or turbo kit goes, and the engine bay parts, like all the hoses and lines are all black. So that'll look really good, I think. And then I still need to paint the front end, so figure out some timing with that. Got to paint the tube front end, paint anything we grinded off, fill in some holes, things like that. I want to get that done ASAP, but we're trying to finish up the car so that when the turbo kit comes back, the plan really is to, when the turbo kit comes back, is be able to start the car right up. So there's definitely a decent amount of work still left to be done. As far as the front end goes, the only thing we have to do is mount the radiator and just plumb everything. So fuel system's pretty much done, minus one line I was waiting on a fitting for. Got to mount the catch cans, that's pretty easy. Plumb the catch cans. But probably the last biggest thing, which is not even that big a deal, is making some mounts for the radiator, because we got the radiator in, as you guys saw. So get that mounted, plumb that with some number 16 line and fittings, and that's pretty much it for the front end, I think. I'm trying to run through it all in my head. Catch cans, radiator, finish up a little bit of wiring, and just pretty much plumb it, oil lines, coolant lines, and then I think, I'm pretty sure that that's pretty much everything to do with the front. We got to mount the bumper. I did get a new bumper. I'll probably show you guys that in the next video, but I got a new bumper. Someone finally released like a race style bumper for the 2018 Mustang, so I'll show you guys that in an upcoming video. And I want to get the hood from them as well, but it's not quite done yet. But the bumper was done, so I jumped on that. So we got to make like a whole cradle for that to be supported by the tube front end, because obviously we don't have any stock supports up front anymore. Got to make some mounts for the headlights, things like that, and then the front end will be done. On the rear, we just have to mount the fuel cell, mount the trans cooler back where it was, and then just pretty much finish it all in with some carbon fiber that Joe is known to do. That's what Joe's good at. So we're gonna make like we're gonna take the little strips from Tin Soldier race cars like we did before, weld those along the edges. I think we got to make like a little support to go kind of where the rear seat delete used to be, because that's all going to be carbon fiber, and then just pretty much cut and fit it all and get that all mounted up. But yeah, I think that's it in the rear. I am waiting on the drive shaft still. I thought the drive shaft would be here already. I messaged the guy today to follow up on it, so I'm just waiting to hear back. I'm hoping the drive shaft comes this week, because other than the drive shaft, we have literally everything we need to finish the car. It's kind of just a matter of labor and time. So we have made some huge progress lately. Like 1 week there wasn't a turbo kit, and then bam, the next week there's a completed turbo kit. It's all done and it's already taken off and sent to get powder and Cerakoted. And yeah, so we've made some huge progress lately. My goal is, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I do have a goal. I really want to have the car out for our May 1st flashlight shootout at Houston Motorsports Park. So we have the flashlight shootout. We're finally kind of trying to expand it, so we're going to try one at Houston Motorsports Park. It's a 8th mile track in Houston. Some really fast cars are down there. We're giving away $16,000 in cash. But anyways, my goal is to get the car there, not to race it, but I just want to have the car there, maybe make some test hits. We usually don't race at our own race just because we're usually really busy. So I'm definitely not going to race it there, but I would like to have it out. And then my biggest goal, quit beeping at me, fool. My biggest goal is really to have the car tested and ready to race for Street Car Takeover OKC. That's at Thunder Valley in Noble, and I think that's May 14th, May 15th, somewhere around there. So that's like my goal of having the car ready to race at. Now, we got to finish the car. We probably have a solid 2 weeks worth of work, and hopefully within 10 to 14 days, all the stuff will come back from powder coat and Cerakote, and we can get that all put back on, put the whole entire car back together. But I need to get out and get it testing. So in order to make the race in May, I need to be testing by the end of April. Now, there's going to be some struggles. I'm going to reference this video in some future videos. I'm going to reference this specific video because there will be some struggles. The car is a completely brand new setup. Usually I just, you know, refresh the engine or change the turbo size or change this, change that, rebuild the transmission. Small things here and there. Small compared to what we've done now. So if you guys are new to the channel, or if you forgot, we went from an IRS stock rear end to a full chromoly welded 9-inch rear end from TRZ Motorsports. It's got a strange center section, super nice strange 40 spline axles, strange brakes in the rear, 15x12 alphas in the back. Just completely changed the setup in the back. Went from a Turbo 400 to a Hughes Power Glide and a Hughes converter and a Mark Mickey shifter, M&M shifter. Completely different transmission, different gearing. Everything's changed. The rear end has different gearing. The engine's been refreshed. It's got a little bit stronger parts in it this time. Should hold a little bit more boost. Got a bigger turbo, different fuel system. Tubed the front end, changing from air to water to air to air. I mean, the list goes on. It's insane. We did a lot of changes. So there is going to be some struggles, and it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of testing, a lot of trial and error. There's going to be some frustrating track days coming up, I'm sure, just to get a handle on the car. Now, the only good thing is that my rear end replicates a Fox body rear end. Obviously, my car is not as light as a Fox body, but the suspension geometry replicates something similar to a Fox body. So Joe will be able to really help me out in getting the suspension set up. And then from there, it's just going to be power management, learning the transmission, learning where to throw the power in. Obviously, that's dependent on the track as well, but just kind of figuring out where the power band is with the car, where the turbo likes to live at. Hopefully, it likes to live at 40 plus PSI, because that's what I'm going to give it now. But yeah, there's just going to be a lot of trial and error and a lot of things we're going to have to try. There's going to be some failures. I'm sure stuff will break. Even though it's all brand new, stuff breaks, that's part of racing, but I'm really looking forward to those days. Like I said, I'll be referencing this exact video someday, but hope you guys have enjoyed the build so far. Hope you guys enjoyed the turbo kit build. Streetcarjoe absolutely killed it, and we are moving on to finishing the rest of the car. I promise you a cold start is right around the corner, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, once we get the turbo kit back from powder coat and Cerakote. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, comment down below. I will see you guys on the next one.